Stories told with pure intention. Every voice gets full attention. Building trust without contention. Stronger through a connection. From La Videa to the diaspora. No gimmicks, just real data. Transparency is our mantra. Shining bright like an aurora. We are the voice you can believe in. Through the airwaves we keep giving. Day and night.
Again, I'm your host. My name is Derek Gallen, and let's get started. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Let me say welcome. Welcome to the Liberia Radio and Television Network. If this is your first time joining us, the Liberia Radio and Television Network is a local media institute right here in Northeast Philadelphia, where we do our broadcast and this podcast from. And tonight, the LRTN is proud to present another episode of The Hard Zone, of which I will be playing host tonight. And the Hard Zone is an opinion-based talk show. We feature a team of panelists from different political persuasion, different political background. And here on the Hard Zone, there's no gimmick, no fluff, just real talk. And for today's episode, we have a lot to uncover. Here in the United States, in just a couple of minutes, President Donald Trump will be addressing the nation amid the Venezuela tensions and the healthcare battle. And we will have our panelists chime in on that, and also focusing our lens on Liberia. We saw this week the LDEA, or the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, in its efforts to clamp down on illegal substance. This week, held in custody, well, one of Liberia's biggest artists in the entertainment industry, that is Bucky Raw, and that led to a reawakening of widespread discussions on the government strategy to battle illegal substance in the country. So we will have our panelists give you your take on this administration strategy in clamping down on illegal substances. And also in the general question, there has been widespread opinions on how President Bwaka administration is doing as far as all other things. Is the people are complaining that the country is extremely hard. On the other side, supporters of the government is saying that this administration is trying, things will eventually get better. So we have a lot in store for you tonight. And more importantly, this evening, we will feature a special guest. We will feature a special guest for this episode. So stay with us after the break and we will come back. But again, welcome to the Hard Zone. Welcome back. My name is Derek Allen. This is episode 3 of season 8 of the Hard Zone. If you listen to the introductory part, we have a special guest tonight. Before I introduce our special guest, Mr. Roger Allen from the school board in Bensalem, PA, let me encourage all of you watching us on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook Live to please share this program on your individual social media pages and make sure you're following us on all social media platforms. Again, LRTN, we have our website, lrtn.net. Check that out for sources on news and development in Liberia, parts of Africa, and the diaspora. With that being said, let me introduce one of our panelists tonight, Mr. Martin Boda, and then I will introduce our special guest.
And the global society. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boda. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're here watching us, let me now take this opportunity to introduce our resident of Bensalem County, the newly elected on the board of Bensalem or Township, Mr. Roger Allen. Welcome to the Hot Zone, Mr. Allen.
Well, thanks for having me. And congratulations. I mean, many shows don't make it to 2 seasons, and you guys are on season 8. So that's a good thing to celebrate in this season.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, it's been a pleasure having you here, and thank you for extending our compliment on longevity for the Hot Zone. But it's because of people like you that show face and to have discussions around issues in the community that keeps us going. So we do this in Liberia, we do this local politics, and we also do it in the diaspora at large. But again, we call you here to just have conversation around local issues within the community. Let me say live again, congratulations on your elections to the body, the school board in Bensalem Township. So uh, it's a pleasure to have you. Now we know a lot of things about you through the elections, but we would just like to have you just talk to us. We have a couple of panelists coming on, but for now I have Mr. Martin Boda. So we'll just hear from you, just talk to us about yourself, and then we'll just ask questions from Mr. Boda and myself. Again, Mr. Allen.
Well, thank you so much for having me once again. And before I say anything, first and foremost, I'm a child of God. That is where I get my identity from. And I look up to the hills knowing where my help is coming from. So that's the first thing I always remember before I, decide to pursue anything. My name is Roger Allen. For those of you guys who don't know, I just got elected to the Bensalem School Board. And I don't like to say but we made some history because I became the youngest ever elected to the Bensalem School Board and the first Black man. And that is crucial because we must invest in the next generation and inspire the youth to get involved. So a little bit more about me. I am college educated, born and raised in Bensalem, PA. My mom is from Liberia. My dad is from Sudan. And it's been a privilege to be a part of this community, to come up and now run for office and give back to my community. And I believe that the solution to every single problem we have starts with God. But then on this earth, it starts with education. That's one thing nobody can take from you. And until we can invest in our education, until we can educate ourselves and combat the means of ignorance, we will never progress. So one of the reasons I ran is because I do have a passion for education. I believe that's the bridge between problems and solutions. And on top of that, I believe we have to get the youth involved. So once again, thanks for having me. And I can talk all day, but I imagine you guys have questions for me.
Thank you. Thank you. We sure do have some questions for you. Let me allow Mr. Martin Boda take the lead, and I'll follow up on more questions. Mr. Boda.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Mr. Allen, I'm glad that you were elected, and I'm happy that being the first young Black man to serve on the Bensalem School Board is an opportunity. My question to you is, with all of these opportunities given you, being a young man, the first Black elected, what is your driving force with the kind of politics, the Republican and Democrat politics within the Bensalem school system? How do you intend to reconcile yourself with the the Republican, in achieving some of your objective, being a young man, to drive, to look at the cost, because the school board drive a lot of costs in the district. And how do you intend to work with your political opponent to reconcile some of these things so that the school district will not be one-sided? What I mean by that is you got minority group who have a lot of challenges within the school district. And how do you intend to address some of the issues when it comes to the school board deciding on issues that affects the minority and the entire community?
Well, thank you. That's a great question because I think first we must understand the political makeup of Bensalem. Bensalem has historically been a Republican town. Let's start up top. All right. We have a Republican state senator. We've never had a Democratic one. It's always been Republican. We have a Republican state rep. We've never had a Democratic one. It's always been Republican. And we have a Republican mayor who's been in office since 1994. It's never been a Democrat. So I'm in a unique situation where they call it the biggest swing town and the biggest swing county and the biggest swing state, which is Pennsylvania. But in reality, for people who live here, we know it's always been Republican. So I'll answer your question. How do you reconcile our differences and how do you work with people on the other side of the aisle? Well, first of all, you have to understand the political makeup. You have to understand people's perspective, and you have to understand the people you're governing. Our district is very diverse. It's one of the most diverse townships in the whole of Bucks County, and I believe in PA. So it's imperative that we must work with Republicans. You can't get around it. You have to work with the other side. And me personally, I don't like to look at that letter next to someone's name. I don't like to look at the R for Republican, or I don't like to look at the D for Democrat. For me, I try to take an objective viewpoint to things. What are your ideas? What does the data say to back up your ideas? What does the facts say? And how can we come together to combat the issues we're facing? So it doesn't matter if you're Republican, if you're Democrat, what are your ideas? Just come to me with ideas, and I hope it's unique and it's not something that has been politicized. And how can we accomplish what's best for our citizens? You mentioned also that one of the biggest things in our district right now, well, it's the biggest thing all over the U.S., is cost. And as you mentioned, school boards control a lot of costs. People don't know that. In Pennsylvania, property taxes are controlled by school boards. In other words, we decide if we're going to raise property taxes up to the index, above the index. We decide the rate. So what that means is property taxes directly fund our schools. Now, two Commonwealth courts have already found that it's unequitable and it's illegal. I think it's a terrible funding formula because it creates disparities. But we must work together, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, to accomplish the best for our citizens and the people we govern. And one of the ways to do that is to put aside your differences, put aside your party, and just listen to someone's ideas, listen to their heart, and get to know the people. So that's the first step.
Thank you very much, Mr. Allen. And before I start asking you more question on the responsibility you are holding now, you can just to educate our people on it, because I'm going to ask you that eventually. I want to ask this question on the party line. Like you mentioned, Republican, Democrat. I know you ran as a Democrat. How did you become a Democrat? What was the driving force to you becoming a Democrat?
So that's a good question, and it becomes political, but one thing I'll say is just because, and I think because right now we are very political divided in our country, politically divided, and I need people to understand, just because someone decides to be a part of a certain party does not mean they agree with 1,000% of everything that party does. I'm more closely aligned with the Democratic Party, but it's okay to disagree with some things that my own party does. It's okay to disagree with the other side, but it's also okay to say, hey, you guys have some good ideas too. Because I think we must go back to disagreeing respectfully. But I became a Democrat because I do believe in freedom. I do believe that even God himself gives us choice. In other words, God does not control you and say you have to be Christian. I decide to be Christian, and that is my personal choice and personal drive. But I believe the Democratic Party is more a party of freedom and allowing people to be themselves. There's stuff I disagree with in the Democratic Party, and there's a lot I disagree with in the Republican Party, but there's also stuff I agree with. But I'm more closely aligned with the Democratic Party, and that happened after research, after assessing myself, and after realizing I'm more closely aligned with their views.
Thank you. I'm still going to build on that question, if you don't mind. And because it's a statement that I would like to have addressed from you, but we're going to get more into your position. But when I ask you on why you became a Democrat, you talk about freedom, and you're more aligned because you feel like you can be more free in the Democrat Party. Is it what you're saying? Is it the opposite on the other end? Like the Republican, is that why you picked the Democratic Party over the Republican Party? If you can build on that.
I'm not necessarily saying that's not the party of freedom, but there's certain things when it comes to freedom. Also, I believe that, let me add this, the Democratic Party is a party that thinks about everyone. Okay, it thinks about the poor.
The Republican Party doesn't?
I do believe that, and I can't, I would be doing everyone a disservice if I generalize the Republican Party. I do believe right now, a lot of Republicans, they don't worry about the common people. I can say that. I think that's obviously there's still a lot of Republicans that do well for people, but on the national level, a lot of Republicans don't worry about the common people. They're better for the rich. For example, if you see what they're doing in terms of tax cuts, the tax cuts they're proposing are literally directly helping the rich. And when I say rich, I'm not talking about millionaires. It's even worse. They're helping billionaires. It does not help common people. And since you mentioned Trump earlier, I'll go ahead and add this on. The cuts they just did with SNAP, with food stamps, and with services that directly help people that can't help himself. I mean, like I said before, the first thing I said on this show is I'm Christian before anything else. So I cannot align myself with a party that does not think about even the less of us. You know, we're all human beings and people need help. And for a party that does better for the rich, that's one of the reasons I don't align with the Republican Party.
Thank you. Before I come back to you, Mr. Boda, let me just for clarity and help me here, and I stand corrected. So if a group of people or a person in your area in Benson Township is a Republican, you were telling them that their party is not for them, like the common people. Is that like a acceptable conclusion to make from your statement? Before I go to Mr. Boda, after that, Mr. Boda, you can take over.
No, it's not. And like I said, nationally, I'm talking when I think there's.
Are you talking about the higher up of the party, or is it just like if you're a Republican today, you don't care about the common people? Is that what you're saying?
No. And like I said, the first thing I said is you can't generalize a whole group of people based on the actions of a few. That's called stereotyping. So there are good Republicans, even here in my township. There's Republicans I work with that are amazing. I sit on a board with one Republican now, and she's great. So I'm not saying that just because you're Republican or Democrat, you believe in certain things. But what I'm saying is you have to also pay attention to the consistent behavior of a group of people. And you just have to be aware of that. Nationally, when you see the Trump administration and what they're doing, yes, I don't think they're good for people. I don't think they're good for people that need help. They're better for billionaires. But locally, in my township, there's fine people on both sides.
Okay, it's fine. Let's hear from Mr. Boda, and then I'll come back to you.
Mr. Allen, my second question to you is that what is that driving force that motivated you, that urged you to fight and become a part of the Benson School Board? What is one or two things that you can say? Look, based on these issues that you have recognized with since you're still in Benson as a young man, went to school, graduated, and you live in the community. What are that driving force that really take you to the board, and how do you intend to implement that force and make a change during your stay on the school board?
That's a great question. So I'm going to share with you a story. And this story takes place at my time in Philadelphia because I spent some time in Philadelphia while I was doing my degree, getting my bachelor's. And while I was in Philadelphia, oftentimes I found myself going to the YMCA. That's where I would work out. That's where I would play basketball. And while I was at the YMCA, I saw a group of guys, and now I know them, more closely, but I saw a group of guys there. And I'm not going to say specifically, but they weren't doing the right thing. So I decided to go up to them and say some words. And immediately they opened up to me, and I was shocked. And I shared with them my podcast link and other things. And they opened up to me about some of the things they went through. And since that time, I can confidently say I realized that we have an extremely bad problem in our society. Now let's get on the topics of issues because this ties into it. One of the biggest problems we have in our society is the home unit. In other words, a flower cannot bloom. Think about a rose as you get your girlfriend or your wife. It starts off as a seed. And until you can water that seed, you expose it to the right sunlight, you also give it the right soil and care, it will never bloom. So the first thing is the home unit. That's something I realized we had an issue. But because of the home unit, one of the biggest issues we were destroying in these kids, is their mental health. We work out every day because we understand the importance of physical health, and improving our body. But one of the biggest things we have to put time into is mental health. So one of the issues I decided to really fight for, and one of the reasons I stepped up to run, is we are not prioritizing mental health, and we must have that conversation. How do we prioritize mental health? The first thing, to answer the last part of his question, how do I plan on implementing that? The school board, if you look at the organizational chart, is the second highest position in the school district, technically the first, but the first is the electorate, the people who decided to go out there and vote for us. Every decision that is made, every major decision has to go through us. And one way I decide to prioritize mental health is before I cast any vote, and this is a promise, before I cast any vote on that board, I always consider the mental health of our students. And another way to do that is curriculum. We have to have a course that directly teaches how to talk to people, how to express your emotions, and how to cope with depression and other things. Until we can do that, we're never going to change this. So, like I said, just to reiterate what I just said, every decision I make will not be done without considering mental health, and we must put in our curriculum, and that's something that I'm currently working on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Allen. Mr. Boda, do you have another question?
No, you can ask him when I get something. We're asking follow-ups.
Thank you. My next question will be on local politics. You know, people from where we're from Liberia or Africa, that are here in the United States or some parts in the diaspora, do not necessarily like to get involved with local politics. And we're seeing you, a young man, achieving this height in local politics. What would you like to say to those people that don't believe that, oh, this is not there, this is where they are, but they don't want to get involved with these things? What's your message to them?
So I'll keep it short because that's a topic we can talk about for 40 minutes. But one thing I'll say is, unfortunately, because of the way campaign finance laws are, we only tend to pay attention to national politics, like the president, the vice president, the Senate, the U.S. rep. But people don't understand that the people that are making everyday decisions that directly affect your everyday lives are actually in those locally elected positions. In other words, the mayor, the school boards, the town auditor, the town tax collector, those are the people that actually make more decisions that directly affect your life. When it comes to national politics, people just hear about it because they see it all on TV, they see it on their social media, simply because those people have more access to money to where they can flood the airways and get their message across. Local elections, it doesn't take a lot of money to run. And unfortunately, a lot of people who run locally they aren't billionaires, or they don't have access to billionaires. But these positions in our local election affect you guys more. For everyone watching or everyone who will see this, affect you more than those positions nationally. All right. The school board makes decisions directly tied to your schooling or your kid's schooling or your nephew's schooling every single day. It affects you guys every day way more than these bigger positions that you guys decide to focus on.
Thank you very much. Now let me ask you this. I was going to talk about mental health, but I'll keep it for a later point of this conversation. Let's stay on the local politics. Now you're on the board in Benson County. How active are you in the Liberian community as far as leadership and governance? I know you're in the know of Liberian organizations. But how active are you in the Liberian community?
So I'm actually a part of one of the biggest organizations here in Bucks County. It's called the in this whole area, it's called the United Liberian Association of Bucks, formerly known as ULAB. And I've been active and a part of them for years. And one of the things I like to highlight to make that intersection between that organization, which I do work with, and also education, they have just started this amazing tutoring program for kids. And I just want to commend them for the work they're doing, because we have to invest in our kids, and this is one of those organizations that will be the backbone in our community to invest in those kids' organization. So I'm very active, especially in ULAB, United Liberian Association from Bucks, where there's hundreds of members. And just to give you a little background, there are over 7,000 Liberians in Bucks County. And a lot of them do come to our events, ULAB events, yearly. We have a big Independence Day event. A lot of them come to our events, and a lot of them know about us. So I'm very active, and I have been active for years.
Thank you. Now let's. I don't want to ask too many questions before Mr. Boda just sit there watching. So let's check with you again, Mr. Boda. If you have any question for Mr. Allen, they will come back to me.
Yeah, I heard him talk about the mental health part, and that is a critical component within our community. Many of our children have been challenged with the mental health issues and parental challenges. How are you going to work with the school board in providing funds or supporting local organizations within the district that you mentioned, EULA, that you are part of, in supporting those groups?
So, great question. And as you said, mental health is something that a lot of us overlook, especially in our youth. And it's something we must start to prioritize. Thousands of people, they have this joke that January 1st, when the new year comes, everyone gets a brand new gym membership, and then by the time March and April comes, no one's in the gym anymore because it was just a New Year's resolution. But we must start to give the same effort into our mental health. And you mentioned something that is so critical to this fight: funds. Unfortunately, in this thing called politics, where any public entity, whether it's the school board, whether it's any initiative you try to do, you need money for it. One of the things I'm in the process of actually creating is a new board position that will directly work with grant writers to try to secure money to our district to do these things, such as teach a course on it, so we can pay a teacher to teach a new course, but also to invest in different resources for our kids. And one of the things I can tell you, the initiatives I'm working on, besides creating that position, is also a class. I have started to have the conversation. It's not going to be easy because there's 9 of us on the board. Okay. And we all have to agree before it goes to a board vote. It has to go through committee, and there's a whole legislative process. But I do believe that it can get done, but we must start to prioritize that. We must put time and effort into it. And I think personally, we have to have a course that teaches coping mechanism, that teaches getting your thoughts and feelings out, that teaches interacting with people, and teaches how to even get to know yourself more and be in tune with your emotions. So those are some of the things I'm doing. It's going to be hard. Funds is the biggest thing, especially in a school district. Money is always the problem. But if we are able to create this board position that I'm trying to create, we will have direct communication with Washington, D.C., with Harrisburg, which is our capital here and where our legislators are in Harrisburg. And we will try to have that conversation so our people here go and secure more money for our district. And unfortunately, I will say this, and this may be controversial. Some of our elected officials, I don't think I can say this confidently, they don't do enough for this issue. They don't do enough in terms of finances, securing money, and they don't do enough in terms of mental health and securing money for our kids. And now that I'm in this position, I'm starting to see the behind the scenes and see it close up. And I can say that confidently, they don't do enough for our kids, and that must change.
So, as you said, they don't do enough. How do you intend to engage them so that they can do more?
So it hasn't been easy. So if you guys remember the political makeup of our town, I'm a Democrat, and we just made history by sweeping the school board too with this election, which is the first time ever in history. And it's hard sometimes to work with other people on the other side of the aisle, simply because now it's not like before. Now we're way more polarized than we used to be. People are so divided. And one of the ways I intend to do that is in the charter I am writing up for our solicitor and other people to look over to make sure we can get this new position approved. I am trying to make it so it is mandatory and required for the person in that position to meet with these people constantly. In other words, we can't just say we create a nice fancy position, but you're not doing the work. So there's going to be a required amount of meetings to meet with these people so we can advocate for that funding. Hopefully I get to serve in that first role because I am the one that's going to be creating that position and getting it approved by the board. And one thing I would do is I promise, and they're probably going to get tired of me, almost bi-weekly, I will be reaching out to these offices. And it's just because of the passion I have for our kids, but also it needs to be done. These people need to be held accountable, but they also need to hear our voices. If you ask me when was the last time one of those higher up officials came to a school board meeting, I don't think anyone in the district could tell you. So they need to become more active, and I plan on being persistent and consistent and constantly going and being in their ear until we get this done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Buddha, if you.
No, I was just saying thank you for her commitment to those questions.
Yeah, I'll second Mr. Buddha. I do support your endeavors, especially on the mental health front. That is something I'm wholeheartedly invested into as well. Now, I'll just build on asking question in the line of mental health. Most of what you mentioned, or as far as getting funds, or coming up with classes to educate people on mental health, this may not necessarily happen in Bensalem or where you are, but those things have happened in other areas. People have raised the funds, create the necessary awareness as far as mental health is concerned, but the issue of mental health still remains a problem. My question along that line would be what new ideas? Because sometimes people fall back when they see they have tried almost everything and then this problem just continue to just stay around or maybe increase. So what new ideas are you bringing to the table or have you brought to the table? And like how do you feel about it or changing the result as far as mental health is concerned? Because you've done enough research on this, you know how much of a problem it is in the community and something has to be done. So what's new are you bringing to the table and how confident are you that this will definitely be the move that will actually lessen the impact of mental health in the community?
Yes, and that's a great question, and thanks for asking it. I think that many people raise funds. They have put money into programs, into resources at school, but no one ever actually talks about the root cause. When you go chop down a tree that has been overshadowing your house for so long, after you chop down that tree stump or chop down the tree, you know it's just going to simply grow back. You know why? Because you never actually uprooted it and got rid of its roots. So, what is the root cause? For years, people have brought this topic up. They have raised funds, they have invested in school programs and other programs, but no one is talking about the most touchy subject of all, the root cause of this. And I think the root cause of this is the home. And the reason it's so touchy is because that's close to everyone's heart. Home is where you're at. And no one wants to actually go and combat that issue at the home front. How do we do this? It starts with the work ULAB is doing, United Liberian Association of Bucks. And it starts with getting involved in the community, not just in schools, not just at health centers. We have to get involved in churches. That's another thing. Churches is a big one. In churches, in community centers, and we have to have a community center that has a public outreach committee or public outreach team that actually constantly goes into the home, mentors these kids, talks to these kids, so they have an avenue, an outlet of people that they can talk to and share these things with. We never do that because it's hard, and obviously homes are very touchy and very personal, and people have to actually let you in their homes, so it's hard. But until we can combat everything at the home front, a lot is never going to change.
Thank you. I'll continue to build on it, and I like your answers. And but you said, Vincent, the root cause is the home. If do you care to explain? I don't want to start like a whole mental health expert room discussion here, but if you can explain what do you mean, when you say the root cause of mental health? Because I think I agree with you in a sense that it starts at home, but now a lot of people are educated to it. And just to add to that question, mental health, it has to be individualized. A person has to realize that they need help with the mental health, and not to say they're crazy or whatever it is we're saying. It's just like if you have problem with your eyes, you will go to the eye doctor. Same thing for every part of our body. It will have to make people feel like it is not like a stigma, they're not a bad people and stuff like that. But how are your plans going to get people to that realization that I have to individualize this? If I'm not feeling okay today, I have to take care of that. And also add into the home, your statement about starting at home, if you can.
Okay, so let's get deeper, and then it may get controversial, but let's get deeper because I like that question. But before I answer that question, I'll say this. Our society as a whole, I'm talking about everywhere on this earth, we have to start to normalize people talking about their feelings. Unfortunately, there's this false public perception that, especially men, if men talk about their feelings, all of a sudden they're soft. Okay. And there's this false perception going around that men are supposed to hold their feelings in, and not even just men, even women. are supposed to hold their feelings in. And yes, you talk to God, you get rid of it, and you move on. And yes, first, I do believe you have to talk to God. But God doesn't say, oh, I am your magic genie ball, and anything you ask for, I will wipe it. No, 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 that's not what happened. Everything that he commands is always a premise. He says, I will give you the kingdom of heaven and everything in it. But the premise is seek ye first the kingdom of God, and then everything will be added unto you. So what I'm trying to say is there's something required of us. So let's get deeper. How do we attack the home front? It starts with parenting and breaking generations of habit. And since this is a Liberian network and I'm Liberian myself, let's get deeper and talk about the Liberian home. Unfortunately, it is not normalized in the Liberian home, and it also is not widely accepted for anyone to talk about their feelings. You know, you have to understand that if a child is talking to you about how they feel, yes, you may feel a certain way because you were brought up a certain way. And I'm talking about the diaspora, people who are here, who have children here, because you were brought up a certain way back in Africa. But you have to understand that the society here is different. Okay, everything here is different, and it's okay to talk about your feelings, and your children have to adjust to that. What I'm trying to say is sometimes it's not widely accepted for kids to talk about their feelings, and sometimes it is thrown down. And until we can talk about our feelings, but not even just that, until our parenting, because that's where it starts with, until our parents can teach our kids how to communicate our feelings respectively, but also how to talk about your feelings and create a safe space for them to do that, I don't think mental health is going to change. And it may start with teaching and coaching, bringing in professionals into the church, bringing in professionals into community centers to teach them how to actually have that conversation. You know, because like I said, every child starts like a seed, like a beautiful rose you give your girlfriend or a daughter or a wife. And you have to plant that seed. You have to water it. You have to expose it to sunlight. You have to give it nutrients, and then it will bloom.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Roger Allen. Again, I would like to continue on this conversation on mental health, but we have other topics that we will have to ask you questions on. So excellent expose on mental health. I definitely love to have that question on that conversation more on another day. But before we get into any other thing, let's introduce my producer on the show. Let's introduce Bishop Reeves for. Are you actually on the show, Mr. Anderson? Because I'm.
Yeah, I'm actually here.
Thank you. But let's recognize the presence of Bishop Reeves. And Bishop Reeves, this is our special guest here today. Welcome to the show, Bishop Reeves.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's always pleasure to see. Before I introduce my producer, I have to say this, Mr. Allen. You're the very first we've had presidential aspirants. We have senators, representatives, every other position on the show. This is the very first time that a producer decided to show face on the show. So
wow,
you're very special. I should
a big deal.
So it is. I'm actually surprised, to be honest. Usually when he popped out like that, usually a mistake. He pressed button behind the scene that he's not supposed to press. But I asked him, he said he wants to be here. So Mr. Joseph Anderson, welcome to the show.
Correct. So the reason why I show up here, this is a very, you see, that is why we created the LRTN. Not necessarily to talk politics in Liberia, but to actually showcase what's happening in the diaspora. So by listening to Allen, I can go to sleep and I can relax and know that I have a young man who is elected and he on the track to make sure everything is done. They say it takes a village. So it just tells me that our people are making progress in the community. So I don't know Allen. I never met his mom before. Somebody say I met his pa before or something. I don't know. But just by listening to the young man talking today, I mean, I'm sorry to say young man, but just by listening to him, somebody did a good job. And this is what I want. This is the goal and this is the dream. That's why I'm doing everything to have folks in Liberia to sit down and watch and see what is happening and see how system work and see how changes come about. So, so if you're young and you're in Liberia and you're watching the LRTN, follow LRTN. It's very important. It's not always about just politics, but there are sensitive things that's what I keep moving and I can't stop and I keep going because I want folks in Liberia and Liberians in America to know that our kids are dear to us. When we invest in their education and we invest into them, we get good result. So for me to appear on the show, I'm just sitting back here and just laughing. I'm overjoyed because I can feel that I have a child in the Liberian community. I can tell you right now, no joke. I can take Alan to Liberia and go for a president. I'm
Mr.
telling you this.
Allen,
My man,
Mr.
don't joke our country, man.
No, no,
Mr.
no.
We ain't ready for
Listen,
Allen yet. Allen ain't ready yet.
listen,
He ain't prepared yet.
no,
We
listen
not
to
telling
me.
you yet enough.
Let me say this to you.
Mr. Anderson,
Let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. We should be joyful. We should be joyful to know that our folks are making progress and
Yes.
you have the new generation that is popping up and we got to keep doing it. And I hope everybody's watching and following it. Don't never overlook a child that stay with you. All the men, I would say this to all the men out there. No matter what happened between you and your wife, your girlfriend, and so thing, so long as you have a child, keep your nose there, keep going back there and make sure that child succeed. Because we have all the opportunity in America. Unfortunately, I gotta take my leave and I'll be to the back.
Well, thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
producer.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure
Thank you,
that
I
you showed
appreciate
up for
that.
the first time in history.
thank you. Yeah, and thank you very much, Mr. Anderson. And I have to say this, Mr. Anderson, so much in love with Mr. Allen, and we do share his view here, but you didn't have to compromise the integrity of the network. The young man just said he ran as a Democrat, he's a Democrat, and now LRTN here is spread sinking. We're all so proud of you, Mr. Allen. But thank you there, Mr. Anderson. He was so overjoyed that he had to compromise the network. We're still a neutral body. We I just have to say
Oh
that.
no, I have
We're
to come back. I have to come back.
we-
I have to come back to verify that. I have to come back. So let me say this to you. I mean, yeah, because I see. Thank God Bishop Reeves is here because you're always trying to twist things and make things to look like
do
on
you wanna be
side
do
or
you wanna be
something.
part of the show permanently?
No, 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 no. Listen to me. I don't want to be part, but let me tell you this.
Your man is painted,
I am
boy.
not. I'm not compromising anything yet. All I'm saying, the Liberian community is making progress because we have both Republican and Democrat in the Liberian community. So it's a joyful thing for all of us to be proud and happy. Whether you
Well,
Republican,
we've
to be
we've
happy
had
of that.
other special guests on the show,
Okay,
and you
so
didn't from the diaspora here. You didn't come on to be
okay,
overjoyed and
okay,
express the support. I thought
correct.
those are things that we usually keep in
My,
the back.
my man, you
Yeah,
can't
but
thank a
but
producer. The producer
you
just
gotta
going back
you,
on.
you gotta understand
Yeah.
something. You gotta understand something, right?
Uh,
This is the youngest.
we get that. It almost seems like you're campaigning
Okay,
for him right now.
this is the
But the man said
youngest.
the man
So,
Labro already. You hear
so,
that?
so
Said the man
I'm
Labro already.
I'm happy and proud to have a young man who is coming from a Liberian community to be so eloquently expressing himself. This is really, really joyful for me. So I know you want to keep me on here. I'm not trying to be on here because
Well, I'm not
I
trying.
know
I will
what you guys
listen.
are doing.
Listen.
So
I
I'm
just
gonna
have
get
to
out.
provide. I just
So
have to
thank you very
provide a
much,
disclaimer.
Derek. Thank you very much, Derek. And I'm gonna get out.
I still have to provide a disclaimer. The opinion of our CEO is not an acceptable opinion of the network. But let's recognize let's recognize Mr. John Wikin Weir. Welcome to the show, Mr. Weir. We have our special guest here, Mr. Roger Allen, and then right after we'll recognize the presence of Mr. Agnew Brown. Mr. John Wikin Weir.
Thank you, Derek. Welcome, Mr. Allen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Brown, welcome to the show. Again, we have Mr. Roger Allen as our special guest. I don't know if you've been listening to the conversation, but welcome to the show, Mr. Brown.
Oh, you didn't forget Reverend Bishop on the show back there, though.
Thank you. Honestly,
I'm good.
Thank you, thank you. Honestly, Mr. Ali, I don't even know how to go forward with the show. You just heard all that. I still have a few more questions for you. We'll hear from Bishop
Bishop
Reed.
Reed, did you recognize Bishop Reed?
I recognize you and Mr. Anderson today. Y'all want to take this show, yeah?
I'm sorry, I didn't see him speak. That's
No,
why I asked.
all right, Bishop. I had to recognize Bishop Reed. If you have any question for our special guest, and then I will take one question for you, Mr. Weir, and then after we'll take a break and we'll come back. We'll do the closing phase of this conversation. Well, Bishop Reed, let's hear from you.
No. I'm just coming on, so I want to listen to have more.
Okay, whatever. Is that the same thing for you, Mr. Jawik and Weir?
Yeah, basically, I didn't hear anything he said, so I can ask a question.
Thank you. We apologize for you guys being late to the show, I guess. Anyways, I'll ask you this question and then we'll go for a break. When we come back, we will do the closing phase of the show. Basically, we had Mr. Allen here, and we're just asking him questions on his candidacy and other issues within the community. We talk heavily on mental health, and we talk about some of the issues there in his area. So, again, just building on more questions here. Let me bring you back in the Liberian community. We have, you mentioned, one of the organization that's doing a very good work in your community. But there's also the organization that deemed themselves the umbrella organization for all Liberian organization in America. That's EULA. I don't know what's your relationship with EULA. And do you ever see yourself like more and participating more? I know you say you've been actively involved. Like, do you see yourself participating more in Liberian community leadership, if you would, Mr. Allen? And we'll take one question from Mr. Brown after that, and then we'll go for our first break.
Yes. So thank you for that question. And right now, I think I'm in a positive. Took a positive first step. In other words, since I'm in a position to do the best I can for the youth, but not just the school, but for youth of all ages and all colors, I have been involved in ULAB for a couple of years. And one of the biggest initiative, as I mentioned before, that I commend them for is tutoring. I mean, one of the most basic things you can do is if you know something, share that knowledge with someone else. Sometimes, unfortunately, our people don't share knowledge with each other and we compete with each other, but we are stronger together. So one of the biggest things is tutoring. I told them that I would love to be a tutoring. I can do it at nighttime. And that's the first thing. And the next step would be to create a whole program that really mentors these kids and give them the resources they need to thrive. So I am getting involved as we speak. I have been involved. And in terms of Liberian leadership, I think I've started. I mean, when it comes to being on the school board and being in a position to affect these kids as much as possible, that's a great first step. And understanding the job, understanding how I can actually make meaningful change for our educational system. But like I said, we must, and I'll preach this every time you see me, we must prioritize mental health. We have to put resources into it, and we have to change the home unit. Charity starts at home. And until we can change where that seed comes from, until we can water it, until we can expose it to sunlight, it's never going to change. So I am getting involved and I'm open to new ideas, and whatever I can do to give back, I will do it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's get our last question from Mr. Brown. Our last question before the break. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Derek. Mr. Allen, congrats on your appointment. It's nice speaking to you. I have just two questions for you. Like, how do you hope to inspire young people who may see themselves not yet as the position that you're in? How do you hope to inspire young people?
So it's funny because I've gotten that question a lot. You know, as I went around the campaign trail, I've met thousands of people. I've shaken hands, and every time I go and give speeches, a lot of young people say this, like, "Oh, you're far more advanced than me." And I think that's, for any young person watching, that's the wrong mindset. Let me tell you why. Because I believe that no one person, this is fact, no one person has the same fingerprint. The same way how no one person has the same eyes, has the same. And let me give you preface. I am a twin, and I have two sisters that are twins, and still we don't have the same fingerprint. What I'm trying to say is that we all are unique in our own way. We each have our own individual God-sent talent. You just have to unlock it. So my campaign, but also my election, because I got elected, should show youth that no matter how young you are, and also should show the older people, no matter how old you are, you can still do something and make a change in your life. So one of the ways I'm inspiring people is I'm going around. I've been invited to many different places, and I think I've only declined one because of schedule, but I am going to tire myself out and go to as many conferences as I can, go to as many youth mentorship programs I can, and inspire these kids. But on top of that, I'm in the process of creating a mentorship program for the youth, and it's going to feature many older people that have lived this life before, a lot of successful business owner, to help them unlock their purpose. I have a podcast myself, and that's the main thing, is to help people unlock their purpose through the power of storytelling. So I am actively doing that. I am trying my best, and any ideas anyone has, if it's a good idea, let's work on it. But I want people to know, no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, you have a talent. So use that, figure out what your purpose is, and go at it with all your might.
Thank you. Derek, if you allow me, I have at least one more question, if you allow me. So I'm an advocate here in New Jersey for children. So I got a question. Here in Jersey, there are now free lunch to all the kids. All the free lunch depends on their parents' income. And so can you share with me? For me, I think every student should have free lunch, in my opinion. But can you share with me your thoughts on ensuring every student receive lunch at school, regardless of their family income? What does that matter to you?
Well, Mr. Brown, you're late, because thankfully we have the great Governor Josh Shapiro. And Josh Shapiro, a Democratic governor here, he got it done about a year ago. As of now, every single kid in Pennsylvania gets free lunch. And it's important because you cannot learn until you have the sufficient nutrients to empower the brain. But also, no kid can learn on an empty stomach. Unfortunately, and this is going to get a little political, but our state rep here, all right, is a Republican lady, and she voted against the bill. Thank God that she was outnumbered, but she voted against the bill. And to this day, I've asked her, I said, why? What was your reasoning for voting against such an easy bill? It's so easy. We have a surplus in our accounts of billions of dollars. We have a need for kids who need foods. So it's so easy, and we're not going to lose much money. So as of now, already in Pennsylvania, every kid here in Pennsylvania is provided with free lunch, and it's not any free lunch. It's a free lunch filled with nutrition, with fruits, with vegetables, and other things. And I'm pretty sure they get breakfast too. So,
last question, Derek. I'm sorry. Last question.
We have to, unfortunately, Mr. Brown.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah, we have to take our first.
Qualitative talking.
If you're watching us, this is.
Thank you for your answer, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. If you're watching us, or wherever you're watching us from, on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, this is episode 3 of season 8 of The Husband. We've had with us Mr. Roger Allen as our special guest, and I have my panelists here with me: Mr. Reeves, Mr. Akil Brown, Mr. Boda, Mr. Jai Winkin. We're having discussions around here, Mr. Allen candidacy. So still with us. We are almost at the very end of this conversation, and then we'll get into our conversation setup mentioned in the introductory part of this show. But again, we will take a very brief break. When we come back, we will get into our closing phase with Mr. Roger Allen. So we'll see you after the break.
Attention all organizations, NGOs, and social clubs in and out of Liberia. Are you tired of relying solely on social media to run your operations? An effective web platform is your most important marketing tool, and that's where Tiamat.com comes in. Hello, my Liberian people. My name is Sophia, and I want you to consider this. 53% of consumers do online research about an organization before talking to someone from that institution. That means not having a website could be costing you opportunities. Step up your game and establish a professional online presence. Introducing our web platform, designed specifically for 501c organizations, small businesses, and political organizations, social clubs, etc. At tiamat.com, we understand how important it is to make a great digital first impression, which is why we offer you all the help needed to develop, maintain, and host NGOs and small and big organization websites by giving you a full suite of services that includes automatic billing for members, membership and visitor portals, first-class design and functionality, and much more. The best part is, it only costs $20 per month. Upgrade your image today with our customized web design services. Visit www.tiamat.com to get started. This is a Liberian-owned business.
In our community, we help each other. But when it comes to prescription pain medication, such as opioids, sharing isn't helping, it's harming. What works for you could be dangerous, even deadly for somebody else. Don't share your opioids. Instead, help by guiding your family, friends, and neighbors to a doctor. Real help saves lives. This message is brought to you by the Multicultural Community Family Services in partnership with LRTN. Services in partnership with LRTN.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Liberia Radio and Television Network, Season 8, Episode 3. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. You guys hear me?
You got an echo.
You guys hear me?
You're muted, bro.
Your audio actually went out, Mr. Derek. I can't hear you.
You on the trip?
You on the trip?
You on a trip?
You on a trip? On a trip?
I'm on that trip.
Hello everyone, I'm Lionel Bernard, aka LB, co-founder of LiveFest. Did you know that LiveFest is not all fun and games? In fact, we're opening on a serious note. Day 1 is our investment forum, taking place on December 17th from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the Ministerial Complex in Congo Town. After the forum, let's meet and greet right down the street at the Calabash. Later that evening to socialize and to connect. Check out LiberiaFestival.com for details and to get your tickets today.
You want the trip?
On the trip?
Coming to Liberia, my people, where you gonna be? December 18th at 9 a.m. to 5 we waterfall.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for that brief technical problems. Hopefully it's resolved and you have my audio in the best quality possible. Again, we've had Mr. Roger Allen here. If you've been following, we've been having discussions around his candidacy and other issues and some issues within Bensalem PA and in our local community, specifically on mental health. We are at the very, very end of this interview with Mr. Allen, and then we'll get into our discussion as planned for the night. But before we get into that, let me encourage you again, if you're watching us, please make sure you share this program on your individual social media platform And also make sure you share it in the groups that you're in, and make sure you're following this network. And before I go to Mr. Allen, we'll take just one more question from each panelist if you do have one. And then we will come back to Mr. Allen to give his closing remark. So I'll get the ball rolling, Mr. Allen. I know you broke record on this show tonight, so I'll just like to say again, thank you. thank you so much for appearance. And just to finalize this, I want to bring back this party line. Let's get a little bit political, and I will take question from Mr. Weah and Mr. Boda after that. You seem to, though you haven't said it for burden, but you seems to express some level of disagreement or disenchantment with the Republican Party, and you ran as a Democrat. My question would be: there are some that, now you being a Christian, there are some that believe that the Democratic people that are Democrats and Christian, their values do not align as far as their position on homosexuality and abortion. What do you say to those people as far as you being a Democrat and you being a Christian, and how does that view align or contrast, Mr. Allen?
Yeah, good question. And as I mentioned before, just because you align with a certain party does not mean you specifically have to agree with everything that party stands for. Also, because I studied finance in college, but my minor was political science, and I have a couple publications about this, so I do want to get into it a little bit. We have to understand that there's something called the far left and the far right. All that means is the political ideology of a certain person could be so far left or so far right. That's what they stand for. Some people would call it extreme. I think it's just what they 100% believe in. So what I can say is I'm a moderate Democrat. What that means is I don't try to look at party. If some person has an R or D next to their name, I agree there's fine people everywhere. There's fine people on both sides. Let's come to the table with ideas. Let's talk about how we could do better for the kids, and let's have a respectful conversation. Now, to answer your question specifically, because if I don't, I know you're going to call me out. To answer your question specifically, I will say for those people who see a D next to my name or see an R next to someone else's name, try to look past the politics, okay? Because it has nothing to do with what this person is saying about this party on the national level. No. What does that person stand for? The only way to combat ignorance is to educate yourself. So like I said, you can be Christian and a Democrat because you have to ask the question, what in the Democratic Party do you believe in? I believe the Democratic Party is a party that does work for even the poor, which aligns with Jesus Christ himself. The Republican Party, I can't say the same because, well, specifically with this administration, because I don't like what they did with SNAP cuts, with programs that help people that have been disproportionately affected. That's one of the reasons I started a big food drive and food program in Bensalem. So all I can say is just because someone has a D next to their name or an R next to their name, you have to ask them what their specific views are and why they're a Democrat or Republican, what they more closely align with, because it does not mean you agree with everything those people do. And let me just say one more thing. If we start to get to a point in our society where we keep generalizing a whole group of people based on the action of a few, by definition, that is what you call stereotyping. So it's not a good thing to do, and it's good to specifically ask someone for their viewpoints. So thank you.
Thank you. Let me ask you a more specific question, Mr. Allen. Do you share the generally accepted Democratic view on homosexuality, immigration, and abortion?
So let's start with immigration. I'm pretty sure, if I don't want to misspeak, most people in this call are immigrants. Am I right? Am I right at that assessment? And and I can tell you my parents are immigrants. I believe that no one, unless you're Native American, is truly from the United States. Okay? Even people who claim, oh, we're American and this, no. Your people come from Italy. They come from Ireland. They come from all over the world. And it's what makes us such a beautiful country, because our diversity makes us more creative. So do I believe that we should allow people to travel on this earth made by God to the country of their choosing? Yes. Do I think they should do it legally? Yes. But the thing the Trump administration is doing, it is wrong. You don't profile people based on how they look, based on their skin color. It is wrong. And I would say I strongly condemn it, because himself, his family comes from immigrants. He's married to an immigrant too.
Germany.
You know, so you cannot get in a position where you start to literally procrastinate, but you start to profile people based on skin color, based on race. It is wrong. And these are fine people. A lot of these people are fine people that have contributed to our society for so long. They bring diversity and they bring creativity as well. Let's go on to the other issues that you have raised. For those of you who are Christian and say you don't agree with these issues, that's fine. You don't have to agree with these issues. But what the reason why that subject gets a little touchy, and I am getting a little feedback, but the reason why that subject gets a little touchy is, for a lot of people, is because this is what the Bible says and is consistent with Jesus Christ's life, is that Jesus himself says, I am standing at your heart, knocking, waiting for you to let me in. What that means is him himself gives everyone a choice. Okay? It means he does not even push his ideology on people. And if you can find where in the Bible where his ideology was pushed on people, I will gladly concede and tell you you're right. But he gives everyone a choice. So to answer your question, I don't believe that because a certain group of people believe in something, that you should force every single person to abide by those laws. If that was the case, then, I mean, people should be consistent when it comes to, if that was the case, then what if I tell you, right? What if I come and tell you, okay, you have this rice, you have red oil, you have pork and all types of stuff in it. Because I believe that it is not good to eat pork, it should be banned off the face of this earth. That's not fair. Because Mr. Yale, I know for a fact you would tell me, no, well, shrimp and crab, those things are great. You know, so what I'm trying to say is, just because you are doing something and I believe in a certain thing, I don't think you should push that. And I don't think the government should really push that on everyone, because that encroaches on their freedom. So what I do believe that there's certain stuff that we may not all agree on. Even me, there's some stuff that you just talked about that I may not agree on. But my stance is that I don't think that everyone should be forced to do something because very few people believe in that thing. If that's the case, then let's go and ban pork off the face of this earth. And I promise you, people will be mad. Let's ban chicken.
Thank you. If I may interject, Mr. Allen, I was asking about your view on those things. I think you answered the question pretty well on immigration. I'm listening to where it would be specifically applied to. Do your view align with the Democratic Party accepted view on homosexuality and abortion?
So let me. I disagree with the question.
Yes. So I disagree with the question, and let me clarify that, because I would rephrase that to say, does my view align with the Democratic Party's view that everyone should have a choice and should be able to choose not only who they decide to love? It's not something that I may agree with. Listen to this. This is the Democratic Party's view, is that everyone should have a choice on who they should be able to love, but also have a choice when it comes to someone's bodily autonomy. Do I believe in the Democratic Party's view that the government shouldn't be restricting people based on the views of a couple people? Yes, because if that's the case, then I'm going to go tell the government, let's ban chicken and pork, or let's ban cow. So do I agree that everyone should have a choice and have freedoms, and certain things the government shouldn't be able to push on people? Yes, there's certain things that the government has to enforce, law and order. But when it comes to people's personal business and what they do, as a Christian, I may not agree with it. And I'll tell you that. As a Christian, I may not agree with it. And as for me, and the Bible said, this is what the Bible says, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. But still, it is not fair and it's not right and ethically right for me to tell you, no, you cannot go eat chicken, you cannot eat pork, else you will be penalized for those things. It's not right.
Thank you. Let's hear from you, Mr. Jawinkin. We heard you or maybe challenging my question, and let's hear from you. And then
I got serious problem with that question. Anyway, so
because you're a Democrat, is that why you have?
I would like to thank Mr. Allen for his statement, for his understanding. I'm very proud of you as well. To add to that, what I like to say is that what more people fail to understand is that a country is like a woman pregnant with children. Just because other part of the children choose different paths doesn't mean that they are not the children of the lady. They all came from it. So you also need to understand that a country, the resources belongs to all the citizens or the children of the country, regardless of your. So what Democrat is pushing is that, hey, this is a country. This is not a religion entity. Country, the United States of America, for all Americans. Why, if we have a Muslim president in America and try to impose the Islamic religion on the American people? Why, if we got somebody who is a Buddhist and impose the practice of Buddhism? Moreover, there are a lot of crimes being committed. Democrat is not giving you a certificate to be lesbian or gay. All Democrat is saying is that there are a lot of people who steal money, people, I was married to one woman who got 3, 5, 6 women. They don't talk about that. They're stealing your resources. They don't talk about that. But
if I may, I will give you, Mr. Weir, I will give you your time. I will come back to you. But let me clear. I don't know if you're challenging my question with what you're saying, but if we can recall, I did ask Mr. Allen the question considering the fact that he's Christian, and at some point in time, we all have read the Bible. The Bible has a very clear view on those things. So I asked Mr. Allen a question based on him being Christian and him being a Democrat. How does the Bible's view on those things and his view as a Democrat align?
Exactly what I'm saying.
That's why I asked.
The country is not a church. It's not a religion. It's a country. So that's why I use woman as an example. The woman born all the children. So the other child who choose the other path doesn't deny him of being the child of. So there is a law in the country. If you violate law, be prosecuted, but you should not. God will judge all of us. God will judge everybody. Those who are Buddhists, those who are this. This is the question to you, to all of you who are listening. Why, if we got Muslim president in this country and try to impose the Muslim religion or what they believe on everybody, how will you feel? When I was in college, I used to think that way until a teacher asked me this question, the hard line about gay, lesbian. So because I used to be angry that, look, the purpose of sexuality is to reproduce. That's all I understood. But I'm telling all of us here, before you throw the stone, as you said, we commit more sin and we just use the idea of gay, lesbian. Well, if a gay man and straight go to school, if they put their outside for school fees, their common problem will be school fees. It will not be because one is gay and one is lesbian. What am I saying? We should focus on our common problems and we should worship the way we want. God will judge all of us.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bishop Reed. I don't know if you want to chime into this conversation, but I give you the opportunity to do so now.
I'm thinking if I should. I really think if I should, because I'm not sure we have enough time to really deal with this particular subject you just brought. Because I must tell you, I admire Mr. Allen for his humanitarian work, for what he's doing in the community. But all of his answers he just gave just now tells me that he's still young and naive and don't understand a lot of things. The same thing with Mr. Jawingi Wia. Both of them, when it comes to this particular topic you are talking about, they're very shallow and they don't understand. Because you're just telling me now that it's okay for us to have people who, I don't like women, I don't like men, I like children, and so I must have a choice so I can just have children because I'm a non-offending pedophile. So I think because that's my choice, you should accept me. That's what they're telling me, that everybody have a choice. So because I'm a non-offending pedophile, you can't tell me no. You can't tell me I should not. I love children. I like them. That's what I want. I want to have young girls and young boys. That's my choice. You cannot tell me no, because everybody must have the freedom of choice. That's exactly what you're telling me. So based on what I just said, it tells me that you guys clearly don't understand what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Okay, bring that to the constitution.
I mean, I could go deeper.
Mr. Allen,
I just
bring it to the
want to
constitution of the United
Mr.
States.
Allen.
Let's go to the constitution of the United States. What does it say?
Mr. Weir,
Man, come on, man.
That
I
gets
could
some
go
color.
deeper into this
Mr. Weir.
conversation, but I'm just stopping on the surface. That's what I'm doing.
Mr. Weir,
Derek.
Mr. Reeves, and Mr. Allen, all of this is going to come back to you. So let me just hear from Mr. Boda, and I hope you reserve your thought on what you just heard from Mr. Reeves, or Bishop Reeves and Mr. Weir. And just by way of introduction, and Bishop Reeves is, I don't know if she's a Republican or...
No, I'm not a Republican.
High profile supporter of President Donald Trump. So I'm just trying to give you, the background of his opinion. He's also a bishop too. So just when you're responding to that, just take that into consideration. Like,
he's a supporter of Donald Trump.
Yeah, he is like a proud supporter of President Trump.
Thank you for telling me that.
And so I had to give you context to why he's speaking the way he's speaking. Also a bishop too. So Mr. Boda, let's hear from you, and then we'll come back to our special guest.
So my take on the whole conversation is I'm not trying to dive into the gay and lesbian conversation. I know the conversation you brought was directed to his view on that issue, and I think
other issues. Don't make it was like I prioritized that. There were three issues that I raised.
You asked two questions, and one was directed to the gay and lesbian thing. What his view?
Among other things, I really hope you will say that.
So, but like I said, I'm not wanting to have this conversation because it's more in depth to talk about, and the issue of
iPhone, because iPhone producers are gays.
Mr. Weir, you've had
so
your
I
time.
don't the choice.
Let's protect you, Mr. Boda.
So I'm more focused on talking to Mr. Allen regarding his role in the community, about his school, and what he's going to do. And as a young man, the way he inspired the young people that see in our life. Yes. And I don't want to create an environment that will kind of put him in an awkward position. Because the school board he's on, that's one of the very critical issues to talk about in our school environment. The environment that's one of those environments that you don't want to get cut into, because Ben Salem is such that he knows that Ben Salem is heavily Republican and they are very conservative, and your view on each certain issue create a stigma and a stereotyping on you, and it kind of shallow some of your development and some of your approach to things. So, Mr. Allen, I know we all have our own view regarding these topics, but I just want to urge you to be mindful in the environment. Those are not environment you want to dive into. So let not leave our conversation. I know Derek wanted to put you on the political scene and be careful with Derek. He's a very crafty and creative motivator.
Mr. Buddha.
So let me
Mr.
finish.
Boda, you're
Let me
good.
finish.
Mr. Boda, you're a good man. You're a good man, Mr. Boda. You're a good man.
So I don't want to. I don't want to muddy the water, and I don't want to muddy the environment. So let's keep the conversation civil. You are a public servant. The role you're playing politically, you are a Democrat, but you're serving the community in a letter of the school, and you're gonna have to deal with a lot of this problem around you. You're gonna navigate your way through. So I urge that Mr. Moderator, let's talk about our school issues. And the next time we'll invite Mr. Allen on the
Let's not contaminate this young man.
Yeah,
Please,
thank you.
let's keep him, in a very safe
Well,
place. He's going to be talking to the students, and he's going to be dealing with issues. Let's keep him safe, because if we dive into some of these deep things right now, it will, as like what Mr. Boda said, it will mess his chances up. So please, let's.
Well,
let's
what do
keep him
you
safe.
before Mr. Bishop Reese? What do you? We've heard Mr. Allen on the show for over an hour now, and
Of course.
he seemed well seasoned and well equipped. How important are his views that he should conceal them to appease a group of people? Is that what we're saying? And I'm just here asking questions.
Yeah. That's what we're saying.
No. What we're saying. What we're saying is this young man
can I be
he has a
protected,
bright
Mr. Reese?
future. Okay.
I understand that, and this is something that we should support.
But he should represent himself, not controlling himself because of all your feelings.
I'm sorry?
No, I'm telling them that he should represent himself. He should speak his mind. He should not be controlled by the feeling of other people.
Thank you, Mr. Weir. I'm just here to ask the questions, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Allen is well equipped for conversation like this. I am not telling my audience that Mr. Allen believes this and don't believe that. He will speak for himself. He just won an election. He's very, very intellectual, and he know how to dive between these questions. So, Mr. Buddha, don't make it seem that I'm trying to sell something.
No, I'm not making it seem. I'm just saying
let's protect Mr. Allen. Mr. Allen, respond to some of the things you heard tonight. We've had a very good conversation here. Don't let our last few comments ruin it. You have your views, and do not conceal them for anybody. But Mr. Allen, let's hear from you.
Yes, and I do admire I do admire him for what he said, because in this government and politics thing, it is good to be mindful, of what you say. And he's absolutely right. And I just want to make people clear that I am on the school board, which means that my primary power and purview is to invest in our kids and is to deal with any decisions having to do with Ben Salem School District. So some of the topics you guys brought up, I know for a fact that it's not under my purview. And I honestly don't even have the power to enact those laws at all. But my purview is for the kids. Now, I do want to give you the courtesy. I do want to say one thing before I give my final summary and final wrap up. I would say this to the great bishop, and I respect you and for standing on what you believe in and all. All I would say is, if you look at the life of Jesus Christ, who our religion, and I believe he's a bishop of the Christian church, Jesus did not hang around perfect saints. Okay? He hung around rapists. He hung around drunkards. He hung around people who would steal, But what he was saying was, just because you're a sinner or because you may not be a perfect person does not mean I will not accept you and guide you in the right path. All I'm saying is I know what I believe in. I'm Christian. I know what I believe in. But just because other people don't agree with what I believe in, I don't think that we should persecute them. That's all I'm saying. I don't think we should persecute those people. And as a Christian, we have to love all people. Jesus calls us to love all people, no matter what color you are, no matter what race you are, no matter what you believe in. We must love all people. But there is still law and order, because you did make a comment about children that I did not like. Because at the end of the day, that's illegal. And there is still law and order. So there is a difference between law and order, but also choice. So children and everything you mentioned, that is illegal. But to wrap it up, because we don't have much time left, I would say thank you guys so much for having me on, first of all. It has been a pleasure. And it makes me so happy that Mr. Anderson decided to come from behind the scenes to come and talk to me. The one thing I will say is to the youth, even to the older folks, I hope my election is the reason you guys brought me on, obviously, but what I'm trying to say is I hope my election is a testament that no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, you can always search yourself and find your talent, find your passion, and give back to the community. I personally have decided to give back in the means of education. But in 1957, a man by the name of Michael Jackson was born in Gary, Indiana. And while many people were so amused and so intrigued by the celerity of his movements and some of his iconic dances, such as the Thriller and the Moonwalk, I always loved his songs. And one of my favorite songs, and one of the songs that I actually push everyone to listen to, is called Man in the Mirror. Because he says, I'm talking about the man in the mirror. I'm starting with him, and I'm asking him to change his ways. So ask yourself, how can I give back to the community? How can I leave this world a better place? And what can I do to invest in the next generation? Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Allen. It's always a pleasure having a special guest on, but you set a tone, you broke record on this show tonight, and we hope that you will not be a stranger to this network. So again, thank you very much for appearing here.
Mr. Derek, can I
so
just
much.
make a point, please, if it's possible?
We'll do a post analysis about the interview. I don't want the guests to be here. We're going to come in. The mayor to get his closing remarks.
Yes, thank you so much. I do have to.
I want to appreciate the guests. I want to appreciate Mr. Allen for what he's standing up for.
For the record, you're breaking protocol on this show. That's not how we work it.
I will protect Mr. Allen. Trust me. I will protect Mr. Allen because I like the fact that he's young, he's coming up, and he's being progressive when it comes to the needs of people. There's another side that I don't want him to venture in, which is politics. I don't want him to go into that area. I want him to stay into the area of taking care of the needs of young people, the students. I guarantee you, he would be a very powerful young man.
Let's excuse Mr. Allen. Thank you again for
joining us.
Mr. Allen. And we hope you will not be a stranger to this network. But again, while we excuse you, let's take our final break, and when we'll come back, we'll just do a post analysis of Mr. Allen interview here today without him being here. But thank you so much. We hope to see you back here next time. We'll see you guys after the break.
And happy holidays.
Did you know 1 in 4 patients who take opioids long-term become addicted? Opioids are strong pain medications like oxycodone, hydrocodone, or morphine. They can help with pain, but they can also lead to addiction and overdose. Take the medication only the way your doctor tells you to take it. And never share them with your family, friends, or neighbors. Know the risks. Stay safe. This message is brought to you by the Multicultural Community Family Services in partnership with LRTM.
Maintaining your vehicle can be a major investment. That's why here at Brothers Auto Care, we pride ourselves on providing professional and reliable auto care at affordable rates. Whether you need an inspection, new brakes, or diagnostic reports, our skillful and experienced mechanics are here for you every step of the way. Call Brothers Auto Care now to schedule your next auto maintenance and repair service. At Brothers Auto Care, we help you drive home with peace of mind. Welcome to your new home away from home in the heart of Margibi County, Liberia. This privately owned guest house located at Disco Hill provides a spacious home for vacation rentals, including 3 comfortably decorated bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. Here, we aim to meet the need of every one of our guests. Do you plan on hosting a meeting? Invite your team to our expansive lounging area, which is perfect for conferences. Let our attentive staff help you celebrate life's biggest moments with your loved ones in our spacious indoor and outdoor event area with chairs, tables, and all your event needs. Whether you're visiting home from abroad or right here in Liberia, we're ready to take your call. Welcome home. Call us now to book your reservation at your new home away from home.
Welcome back. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you're watching us from, again, this is episode 3 of season 8 of the Hard Zone. We have my panelists here with me, Mr. Boda, Mr. Weir, and Bishop Reeves. We had Mr. Brown on earlier, but hopefully he will reconnect with us. And we just had a very, very, very fruitful discussion with Roger Allen, just recently elected to the school board in Benzilen, PA. And if you watch that interview, you watch that discussion, I think it was a very beautiful discussion. In the end, it got a little shaky, but we are at the very end of this show, so I just like to do post analysis, if you will. I want to build on the conversation we ended with. And again, let me just say this. Mr. Allen spoke on something that you guys did the very opposite to at the end of the show. If you're a young person and you have goals, that you have things that you want to aspire to, it's always like a norm where we have the older generation telling us, oh, you got to be careful. You can't say this. You can't do this. You are in the midst of people that may do you X, Y, and Z. So whatever it is you believe of the world in general, don't express it anyway. It's almost like you're trying to create this carbon copy of us that you want us to put out there. And I want to bring this conversation back. Why the young man couldn't talk about it? He seems well equipped. He's like he's starting a political journey and he's doing very well. Why are certain topics such, like you guys consider certain topics like so sensitive that you can't freely or openly talk about it? That almost seems like what Mr. Boda was driving at. Why is that the case? Mr. Boda, Mr. Bishop Reeves.
Yeah, let me take you on with this now. Now that we can have this conversation.
Go ahead.
So let me give you a broader perspective. This is one reason why the Democrats lost the elections. Because a lot of the social issue they take on that is not of bread and butter issue. How is it somebody having an abortion affect my life? How is it somebody becoming a gay affect my life or impact my life? Okay?
But you're a criminal.
Mr. Weir will come back. They will happen.
Be quiet, man. Be quiet, because we're coming for you. Be quiet.
These are issues that, because the reason I was trying to caution Mr. Allen, I've been to the school board. We let somebody in the school board. We know the nuances of the Benzilen school board and the environment that we live in. And these are the difference between a conservative and a liberal people. Because you're a liberal, you want everything. Everybody has their freedom. Everybody have this. But there are certain things you have to have some pauses, like the one we're talking about. I don't care you want to be whoever you want to be, but don't impose it on me. Don't. That's the problem with conservative people. Conservative people don't want you to put your belief on them. Because you have a habit or certain habit that you have within you, I'm gonna accept it. I don't need to accept your habit. That's you. Go and do you. But you want to recognize it as a norm that because it should happen, because you want it. No, that's the problem. 2, somebody want to go and have an abortion. How is it that my problem? That's your choice you're making to go and have an abortion. Should I be responsible for that choice you're making? No. Should I fund it? No. So these are issues that Democrats always try to put up there. Yeah, you want everybody to have that right. That was one of the core reasons why they lost the election. People were having issues with all of that problem, financial problem. Prices are going up. They didn't address those issues. They left it lying there, and they were running with what? Abortion right. And the gay. Look, I'm not against who want to be who we want to be. That's your problem. But I don't need to, validate you or who you are. I don't need to validate you. You already validate yourself. That's where you want to be. I don't have to validate you being a gay or not being a gay. That's the problem, that it is on the left and the right. Because the left. So yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Porter,
Mr.
I have a question. I have a question for Derek, though.
Yeah,
let me hear from. Ask the question, and I will come to you, Mr. Weir.
Okay, so we're talking about the fact that people want to have abortion. Let them have abortion. That's their body. Fine. My question is, when a man kills or murders a pregnant woman, the law would charge him for double homicide. If the pregnancy, we consider that the child in that woman's stomach is not a real human being until it comes out, why do they charge him double homicide? It means that the law have recognized that once that woman is pregnant, it means she's carrying a human being. But yet, you people want to say that her choice, let her kill the baby in her stomach. That's murder. So don't come and tell me that her body, let her have the choice to kill whoever she wants to kill. So when it comes to these issues, Mr. Boda, you just saved that boy's life tonight. It was so wise that you advised him in that direction, because if he is there and he wants to advocate for young people, he want to advocate for the poor, he want to advocate for the hungry, and you come sit on this show and tell us that you're a Democrat, it means you support the transgender surgery they are paying for the children. It means you support it. The people are taking taxpayer money to pay for transgender surgery. You tell me you support all of that? And I was just being sarcastic when I came up to talk about me. I like children. I'm a pedophile. He didn't see me coming. I was being sarcastic. I was trying to tell you that when you say you want choice, and somebody come out and say they are pedophile, or you have people who engage in bestiology, all of them are within the LGBTQ community and group. If we just allow this thing, it is going to mess up with the next generation that is coming, because they printed books and everything to transform the minds of our children. So you, Derek, asking that little boy that question so he can come out and say what he wants to say, it tells me that the boy is naive. He doesn't even know when it comes to politics. He doesn't even know what he was jumping into just now. Yeah, he won't talk about God. He won't talk about the Bible. I was just going to slam dunk that boy. So it was good that we protected him and took him off. Thank you, Mr. Boda. God bless you.
You're welcome, brother.
I would have bet on that. I don't think he would have slam dunked on him. And why y'all trying to put me? Why are y'all trying to put me in the battle? Like, I just asked questions, okay?
It was a setup.
No, your question is not wrong though, but he got to be mature to understand Certain question you can. Certain question you cannot answer. Certain question you can deflect. Certain question. You know how to answer every question at an interview. You some question come, you look at whatever you deflect it because of the political environment. That's what I was talking about. The political environment he finds at the schoolboy he finds on will be on our role.
He's from my generation, so I feel obligated to defend him. I think he's very matured in the political arena. I think he's intellectual enough. And no question on this show tonight or any other night will trap him or make him or
you trap the man. He said no question can trap the man. The man was trapped tonight.
And you are not on the school board. You are not on the school board, so nobody can fire you. You and Mr. Anderson can fire you because he likes
the man was trapped. You trapping the man you putting the man in a situation.
No. Can I be protected? I think what we're running away from is a hidden fear of your generation, Mr. Boda and Mr. Reeves.
What generation?
Your generation. This question seems sensitive because you're not used. The young people maintaining their ground. Again, can I be protected? I understand.
You are.
I understand it might trigger your generation because this is not a conversation that you guys are comfortable having. You're just getting used to see a young person maintain their ground on the intellectual arena. So I don't think the question was much more about that young man's ability. I think the question was much more about you guys being very sensitive to that kind of environment. But again, I'm a teen. I don't think my question trapped that young man. I think he's well equipped. I think he's prepared for this type of conversation. In no way was he going to harm his candidacy if he ever endeavors to be something else other than the school board.
Jerry, you are not familiar with the school board, Barcelona, are you?
I am familiar with.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
I am familiar with the school board, Barcelona. I am. You know the aura that young man comes with.
Look, I'm telling you, we elected a young lady on our board before.
That's been selling in China politics.
Hold on. I'm trying to give you some historical facts. This is not the first. He's the second Liberian being elected on that. Second young people elected on that board. Okay?
I get that.
So I'm telling you, Vanessa went on that board. We elected Vanessa on that board. Okay. With the same passion and stuff. The board of Bensela and the school board in the Brewer Township are very difficult to maneuver into it when you are not mature into the politics of America. You may sit outside and say it the way you want to say you're a young man, that the young people say, yeah, we're young. Yeah, you're young, you got your head to talk, you learn. No. Maturity comes with a lot of experiences, what you experience physically in life. It's not the academic you learn from school today. How you deal with situation when you pass out that homes. Your next one, you see it. When you look at politicians when they answer a question, go and review all of their tapes. When they get important, you know some of the question they answer. If you ask them today, they will answer it differently today.
Again, I'm
okay. If you interview Mr. Allen in the next 5 years after he leaves that board and the question you're asking, it will be a different response. And you pay the clips.
But then if nobody asking no question, how will we get the response then?
I'm just telling you how much immature he is to that question.
No, I honestly wouldn't say he's immature.
That boy is immature to politics. That boy is immature to politics. Let's not push him to politics. Let's not push that boy to politics. I beg you. Politics, he's immature. When it comes to the school and it comes to his service to humanity, let's help him to stay in that direction.
I refuse.
You and John Wigan, we are.
I refuse. I refuse.
But when John began to follow, he just said he went to school. When he began to follow, what we're talking about this topic.
Let's
they ain't got to talk about a woman married or all that kind of thing becoming pregnant.
Excuse me, Bishop.
Bring that thing, my man.
Excuse me, Bishop. There is one thing I want to make clear here. I haven't seen any brochure of Democrats that get license to people to be gay and lesbian. Hold on, please. I haven't seen any brochure of Democrat that license people to go do abortion. because this is the misinformation people taking around. Moreover, statistically in this country, gun kill people than any other thing.
Oh God.
Because no life is important. How can you say you care for the unborn, but you kill the living? Most of the prisons in this country are for profit making, owned by the so-called Republican politicians. They make money out of imprisoning people. That's a fact. But let me get at this that people are saying. Democrat is not going around paying people to go have abortion. Democrat is saying if the woman is in a critical situation when she has to choose between life and death, that should be a medical decision between the doctor and the patient.
Okay, Jerry, let me pause you there and just ask a question. Hold on, let me pause you there for a second.
Mr. Buddha, Mr.
No,
Buddha.
let me pause it. Let me pause it for a second. Hold on. Injection.
Mr. Buddha, let's allow Mr. Weir to learn
So
when he gets to a
let
point.
me end.
Thank
I
you.
want for the bishop and Mr. Buddha to tell me which life is important. Is that the one killed by death or by abortion? Is there any difference between life and death? Is there any particular life that is better than the other life? What am I saying? If you claim to be pro-life, be pro-life. It should not be the other way around. You can't be pro-life and put people in prison and make money out of them. You can't be pro-life and make money out of guns and kill children. That is not pro-life. That is deceit. You can't be pro-life and ripping girls around. You can be pro-life and commit all the crimes. You can be pro-life and giving, or how do you call it, freeing people who commit a lot of crime, even including killing. What kind of pro-life is that? That's my question to all of you.
Bishop Reeves, you have a minute, 30 seconds, please.
Mr. Weir, I'm just sorry, but all the things you're talking over there, none of them make sense. I apologize for that, but it doesn't make sense at all because, number one, the Democrat Party was the one who pushed during the time of President Obama. I voted for Obama and I ran campaign for Obama for 8 years. So you can't tell me about a Democrat agenda because we ran that agenda. It was the Democrats who pushed that thing to pass into law for LGBTQ. So you can come tell me, say, well, you can't.
I'm not talking about that, sir.
Please.
I'm telling you about guns, killing, and abortion.
Let me finish.
I'm coming life.
I'm coming
to
the.
We're talking about killing. We're talking about death.
Wait now. I'm coming to the death part. No. Listen, I'm answering you accordingly. You started by telling us, show me something record where the Democrat did what. So
will you address the gun issue though?
Yes, I come into address the gun. Oh, hey, that's an easy one.
Okay.
Yes, that's a very easy one. Let me tell you something. No death is good death or bad death. Every murder is wrong. I want you to know that. Every murder is wrong. So we have to put it in law that murder is murder and murder is wrong. So if you're killing babies, it's wrong. If you're shooting people with guns, it's wrong. We don't support any kind of murder in any way. I want you to know that. So let's talk about things that are policy. Let's talk about things that affect the generation, that affect our lives. These people are pushing a lot of things into law and they are weaponizing a lot of the policies that they put in place. And you seem to close your eyes to it.
Such as?
I'm sorry, man.
Was it such as?
All right.
No. We got to stay with Bishop Reeves. I think Mr. Weir has a very valid question. Once if you can't take the question, I'll go to Mr. Weir. But if you want to take a stab at the question,
Such as
Mr.
about yourself.
Yeah, I want to answer the question you asked.
Mr. Let's hear from Mr. Let's hear from Bishop Reese first, and
You
Mr.
said
Boda.
you said such as. I'm trying to find out. You said such as from where? I mean, I'm trying
The
to
last
understand
statement
what
you
said,
made.
such as.
The last statement you made. He will ask you to give an example.
But I just give example when it comes to putting homosexual gay thing into law. I just answered the question when you talk about murder from either pregnancy, abortion, or shooting people with a gun. I just told you that it's wrong on all levels. No murder is correct.
Well, you know, if I will build on Mr. John Winkin, we are a point. And correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't think we have a national crisis when it comes to people choosing who to be with, but we have a serious crisis when it comes to gun violence in a lot of different states. I think Mr. Weir's point is why are we prioritizing this that is not causing any crisis for the country and turning a blind eye to this whole gun violence issue? I think that was Mr. Weir's original point. I don't think you addressed that.
What is not causing crisis? What is not causing crisis?
Would you say the issue of the people choosing who to get a homosexuality, the people in a general form, or transgeneration, would you say is causing much more problems for America than the issue of gun violence?
Then you did not listen to Mr. Boda when he was speaking. You did not listen at all. Listen, he said, we don't have a problem if you want to live your life the way you want to live it. But when you start pushing legislature, so all of us can live the way you want to live. When you start teaching our children, hold up, man, I'm coming. When you start teaching our children and you're changing the books to change the mind of our children to accept what you are saying, that is a problem, number one. Number two, when it comes to abortion and it comes to gun violence, no murder is acceptable. Okay? Now let me ask you.
Okay, no, I
President Obama, President Obama was in power for 8 years. The worst state is where he comes from, which is Chicago. He did nothing about black on black crime.
I am not.
He
I'm
did
not
not
really
push legislation for that. But y'all will sit down here today and tell me
you are Mr. Reed, if I may interject, you are in a sense admitting that this administration is doing absolutely nothing to do this gun shooting, because whenever they ask you about why you're not prioritizing and you try to make comparison to a previous administration,
what do you mean why we're not prioritizing it?
Admitting that this administration don't prioritize that. So let's not make this.
Can we get to the conversation?
You're trying to be political. You're trying to be political. Don't even go there.
I don't want to. Let's hear from Mr. Boda. Every time I'm trying to be political, all I'm doing is just asking questions. You know.
So First of all, let me what Brother Wiggin, John Wiggin is saying about gun and abortion. People are getting to abortion because somebody wanted to fund it, federally to fund somebody's habit. Okay, that's pragmatic. You don't expect me to pay my tax money and you take it to go do an abortion with it. That's where the problem is. That's the reason why abortion have been shut down. If people were going quietly doing an abortion where they didn't have a clinic, they didn't have a hospital, where federal fund was being used, the taxpayer money have been used to pay for abortion, that's the problem that brought the problem up. Secondly, there's nowhere in the United States where federal government is paying for people guns or sponsoring guns. You can't. They had a law passed. They had an amendment where you can own a gun. I can own gun. You can own guns. With nobody asking you not to own guns. Gun killing people, that's another issue by itself.
No, you know what, Mr. Boda, Mr. Weir, let me give you.
Let me finish. That's a difference. The difference is federal government or sponsoring gun program for people to buy guns. But states are sponsoring people to go and hire abortion that government pay for. That's where the argument is on the other side. The right is saying, no, we can't do that. We don't want to pay for the same thing with somebody getting married. I'm gonna accept you go to do you are gay, you want to marry. I'm gonna approve it. I don't have to validate you being married.
Okay.
Okay,
Let me make a point.
There was a crooked moment just now.
Let me make a point specifically with the gun issues.
Mm-hmm.
In this country, a Buddha wanting to be a mayor and pro-gun, you receive billions of dollars. Gun makers support his campaign to protect gun making. You are talking about money supporting other programs. And the last time I checked, Mr. Buddha, the only thing I know about abortion, that used to be the only thing I know about abortion that people can pay for. It is clear. If the woman is at risk, that is being clear over and over. Doctors say, look, if you have a child, they will happen to you, or you don't have child again, or you don't live. That's the only thing. It's insurance stuff. It's not that they're paying people to go have abortion. It's nowhere. It's not true. Don't say it.
Don't say what?
What you are saying is not true. They're not paying for abortion until it is medically required.
Oh, please, Mr. Weah, I beg you, you are not knowledgeable of this.
Come on, man.
You are not knowledgeable at all of this.
That is true. But you are not knowledgeable anyway.
Please.
Why you think there's a fight about abortion clinics? Because there was money set aside in federal budget to fund the program.
It was only abortion clinic. It was providing a lot of services. But people just use that police services as abortion. There were a lot of things that were provided.
So who should pay for your sexual habits?
Pregnant women. No, family planning clinics. I know about family planning.
Yeah, should I pay for that?
I told my wife family planning.
Mr. Weah, you need to go and study the subject.
If I'm
question. Family planning clinics. They were not doing
You'll be responsible for your behavior because you want to go have unnecessary sex and have a baby. I'm gonna pay for that.
No, it's not what you are saying.
But that's what you're talking about. That's what the family planning all of these things.
No, that is not true. But please,
what are you talking about?
It's a clinic. It's a clinic.
Who sponsored it? Who paid for the clinic? Government paid for the money.
Okay, who pay for government hospitals?
What?
Are you not paying taxes?
Come on, man.
Family planning is a clinic.
What are you talking about? John Wicked, don't muddy the water, man.
No.
Yeah.
I went there too.
Hey, you are contaminating all the bottle.
Family planning.
Again, guys,
come on.
Open
your eyes, man.
Look, you guys should not kill and use the religion to kill people.
Why?
Okay, listen. Okay, what should happen to Steve Jobs?
About what?
No, the guy who owns iPhone now. What should happen to him?
For what now? What? Explain to me.
Because he's so gay.
See, that's a whole different conversation.
Mr.
Jobs is gay. What I gotta do with anything we're talking here now?
It's like he coming from space. It's so gay. He producing iPhone that you are. So what I'm trying to say is that the art itself is not. We're talking about choices. People making choices about things. What I'm trying to tell you is that nobody can tell anybody to become a gay or lesbian. What Democrat is saying: do not impose your religion on people. Who
impose religion on people?
They're not harming you.
I mean, as far as
you impose your way on the people. Like, everybody might accept that you are gay. That's what happened, bringing the trouble. Everybody might accept because you want to be gay. You want to be one day you are a man and you want to be transgender. You decided one day you say, "Oh, I got a feeling to be a woman, so I might accept that you want to be a woman." How is that our problem? You are man all your life. You are woman all your life. You want to transition to something.
You are taking taxpayer money to support transgender surgery for children. For children, man. Taxpayer money. Look, man, Mr. Weah, I beg you.
If you want to take your child to the hospital to make it the child was born as a male.
I do not.
So we must choose your birth certificate.
Let me make it clear.
Mr. Weah, go back and study. Go back and get knowledge of the subject.
Hold on, Bishop.
Okay.
I do not support gay, I do not support lesbian, I don't support any of these things. But what I am saying, this is a country. The resources for the citizens for the entire country. These resources, it's not for a particular group of people. It's not for Muslim, it's not for Christian, it's not for whatever belief. But what you should follow is what the law says. That's why your argument should be this.
Have Christian forced you to pay for the churches?
What are you asking that question? I just give you an example.
Because Christianity raise their own money to do what they want to do.
No, but I'm just telling you that you make money from putting people in prison. Just do the research and see.
I mean, who put it? If you commit crime, you go to jail.
No, they make it. Look, I will ask you on the picture.
No. They're not just grabbing, put it and go put it in jail. Don't say that. You can't say that, John. They're not just grabbing, put it in the tree and put it in the jail.
Yes.
No, that's not true.
Yes.
There's no certificate to that.
Yes.
They're not just grabbing, point and just throwing it in the jail. No, that's not facts.
For little crime.
No. Don't say little crime.
Go back and study.
No.
You don't have knowledge of what you're talking about.
That's not facts.
Honestly.
That's not facts.
America has it.
Let's be honest.
That's a whole different thing you're talking about. Yeah, because we got crime in America. There's a huge crime in America. So you will have a larger population in jail. But it's not that they're not just arbitrarily grabbing and putting in the jail.
There is something you are missing, Mr. Buddha.
What is it?
There is something that you are missing.
Tell me.
Okay. Don't take it from my word. Do research about how the prison in America are funded. I don't want to go into that. You yourself.
Okay.
Federal government fund the prison because they got feed the inmates.
Yeah. They get contracts. That's what I'm telling you here.
But who pays? Yeah, because government had to provide services for you, even though you committed crime, you were incarcerated.
Mr. Buddha, please hold on 1 second.
Listen to me.
Let me ask Mr. Weah a question.
Do that as a business.
Yeah, Mr. Weah, please.
To incarcerate people as a business.
No, that's not a fact.
Ask your question,
that's not fact.
Mr. Buddha, wait.
No.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Weah, please. I want to ask you. For the 8 years that President Obama and the Democrat ran this country, the question you are asking about the gun violence and putting people in prison, did they do anything about it?
Yes.
What did they do about it?
They tried to pass law, but they never got a vote because of Republican refusal.
What did they try to pass law on?
It's about majority rule. It's about majority rule.
Explain.
Several times they try to let's say the gun violence. Several times they talk about it. Talk about the prison reform. Talk about instead of somebody get piece of marijuana, put them in prison for life. But you should send them to school to train them, to rehabilitate them. Republicans be refusing all of these things.
Are you sure, Mr. Weah?
Hold on. If you commit a crime and you got to serve your term, you serve your term.
Let me ask
Mr. Wait. Mr. Buddha, wait.
Mr. Weah, hold on.
Mr. Weah, you just said something. Mr. Weah, you just said something about prison reform.
Yes.
Isn't it Donald Trump is the only president who engaged prison reform and took a lot of your Democrats out of jail? Isn't that on record?
No.
Isn't that on record? To the point where these guys on CNN, what's the guy?
This man I take all the way to another side. Mr. Moderator, man.
Hold on. Bishop, let me give you an example.
Bishop,
system.
So when we come for abortion to gay to jail now, what we going? Where we going? They may just talking all over the place.
We're talking about life. We're talking about quality of life. Talking about care for life.
But when you commit crime, can you go to jail for your crime?
Give me a little chance now. Let me tell you something. What's happened? Here is the problem. Let me give you a little story. Here I am. I'm a drug dealer. I gave Mr. Buddha his ride. He just said, Jange, please drive me to Walmart. As we go, they pull me over. In my car, they saw drugs. They arrest the two of us. They don't care whether you are aware or not. They take you to police or whatever. They process you. You don't get a first even 5 cents to bail you. Because of that, they put you into prison. Once you go into prison, it's look, I did this.
That's not facts.
Hold on.
Those are not facts. Those are not facts. You don't get
Mr.
grind
Boda,
in somebody's car.
Mr. Boda,
Those are not facts. It's not facts.
Mr. Boda,
No, those are not facts.
Yes, it's a fact.
No, it's not.
Mr. Boda.
The system does not work like that. I know that there are some flaw in the system, but they don't get grind because you're in a car.
Yes.
No.
When you are Mr. Boda, whenever you are,
It only happened during the Republican government, not Democrat. That's the example he gave.
No,
it only happened during
Mr.
Wiggin, there's a system. The system does have some flaw. We agree.
Yeah,
there's no perfect system, but you cannot equate that to what we're talking about: abortion and gay and lesbian. That's crime. When somebody commit crime, they go to court, they go through the process and jail. That's a whole different process. How the judge has the discretion. Judge discretion will not control the judge discretion. That's not something that you have control.
Thank you.
They had a latitude to say you 20 years, 15. The book get them that choice to do so.
It's a different thing.
Thank you. Mr. Boda, Mr. John Winkin, we are Bishop Reeves. We have exhausted all of the time.
Yes, sir.
I did that close in college, man. I don't mind.
I'll give you guys the opportunity to close. If you're watching us, this is after we get the closing statement from our panelists. We'll draw the curtain to the show, and we'll be back here next week, same time. So before I start with you, Mr. Martin Boda, let me just say this. My final closing will be, regardless of what side of this debate you are on, you have your views on homosexuality, human rights, and so many things. And we all can agree. As long as this conversation concerns priorities, I'm very much interested. If you were to ask the victims of mass shootings, they will not tell you, oh, forget about gun violence. Go take care or make sure people are not choosing the wrong partner. They will not say that. So as far as priorities, I think we can see where the priorities should be. But the way the conversation around homosexuality is being held, transgenderism, I think we can almost conclude that gun violence isn't much of a priority here. And lastly, I don't think it's right. Other person may think it's right or it's wrong. You cannot tell people certain things is wrong because your religion says so, because your religious values is against it. On that same end, you cannot look at a group of people and say they can question a decision you're making, especially if their taxes are going towards supporting that idea. I think it's a very fair playing ground. We can debate from our individual sides. But it's been nice having this conversation. The show set record. The production and Mr. Boda, I got information here that the producer, since he part of this show, and disagree with you on something you were saying. Mr. Anderson disagree with you on that.
You got it right to do so.
I just wanted to register that because he's now a panelist on this show. And again, it's been very nice. And finally, contrary to what Bishop Reeves and Mr. Boda thinks, I wasn't trying to set that young man up. My job is to ask questions.
Oh, my man, you going by again?
Can I just finish? He's well built for this type of environment, and that's that. Mr. Boda, we're short of time, so if everybody can just shorten their closing, I highly appreciate it. But let's hear from Mr. Boda, Bishop Reeves, and then Mr. Weir. Mr. Boda.
Thank you for having me, Derek. It's interesting that we had this conversation to know where we are. Everything we do, we should respect each other. We should have life is important. We all should preserve life. That's should be a cardinal thing that we all should preserve. And there are social issues that we all have to identify ourselves where you want to find yourself. What is important is don't impose, let us not try to impose one way upon another. And those are very important to note. So with the issue of gun violence, nobody wants to be killed. Gun is a society thing in America. America has an amendment that gives rights to people to own guns. And that right, people defend it at all costs. So until that law can be revived, or whatever way they can reconstitute, then you still have the gun violence. And I personally don't like gun. I don't have gun. I never had gun, and will never have gun. But the fact of the matter is, you cannot equate gun to an abortion, to the gay. Those are two separate issues.
Right.
Those issues are all different in its own nature. Okay, the way if you put the issue on the table, 85% of American or 90% of American will support gun in a house. If you put abortion on the table, you will have opposing view. You have more people against the abortion thing than you have against gun. Okay, and you talk about transgender, the same thing. Okay, so I mean these issues are very based on the people's personal choices that we talk about. But who want to? If I go buy a gun in the store, I'm not imposing my gun buying on you. I'm not going to hide in my house. Oh no, I can get an armory in my house. That's my house. Okay, the people that dying the gun is people killing people because you got bad people out there. I would say want to take gun from everybody. It's not possible to take gun from everybody because that's a whole another whole topic by itself. So, but I was just trying to, my brother making some statement, a general statement about praising, about that. Judges have discretions. You go to court, they judge you. Every system has its own, got some flaw in the system. But people are arrested. If there's a law on the book that, hey, before then, marijuana was not something that you carry with you. There was a certain amount of marijuana you have with you. Based on the quantity that you have, if you are arrested more than what you allowable quantity at the time, you go to jail. There is a law on the book for that. So at the point where now they're legalizing marijuana to be for medical marijuana and what so forth, now you can go buy cannabis in the store. It was never before in America. So people went to jail because they were not allowed to have that with them. And they took it with them, so they got locked up. Now you don't see anybody being locked up for marijuana in a pocket. Except you have certain quantity, more than allowable quantity that you're supposed to have with you, then you are questionable. So I just want to make that clarity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Having you
Buddha.
guys anyway. Yeah.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure having you here, your contribution
Thank you.
since the first episode. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Reese, let's hear from you.
Well, it's always a pleasure being on this show. And I want to thank God for all of you because we have been very cordial and everybody say what the truth, and everybody if you are wrong, I tell you you're wrong, and and we've had a good time. But I want to clarify something to all of you here today. I am not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I support Donald Trump. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat because I know what happened behind Democratic tickets. Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Both of them, their nose is not clean. Both of them. You want me to pull stuff out? I can pull it out. Then the nose not clean. That's why I don't support either of them. But do I support Donald Trump? Yes, I do. Is he perfect? No, he's not. But has he done the things that he said he would do? Yes. Is he brash, rough, raw? Yes, he is. But at least if somebody say, I will shoot you, and the person take the gun to shoot me, I respect that person. That somebody say, it's okay. By the time I turn my face, they finish shooting me in my back. And that is what my Democrat brothers
always does. And I worked for the Democratic Party for several years, so I know the inside of things that's going on. Now, this whole gun violence thing that we're talking about, there was a reason why that law was put in place, that people can now have the right to bear arms, because the wicked people kept killing innocent people who did not carry guns. Young boys were buying guns and were killing, committing crime. So the people said, but if these people are continuing to commit crime and to kill our people, then let us have the right so we can bear arms. So if somebody come to my house to come and bust in my house with their gun, they can also meet. I can also protect myself and my family. That was the reason why they went through legislature, all of that, and the people say, you know what, let's put the law in place so that everybody can have the right to bear arms to protect yourself, because the government cannot protect everybody. So that was how come this whole gun law thing came about, because people could not defend, the government could not defend everybody. So people wanted to have the right to bear arms to defend themselves. Okay, so coming back to the whole situation we've been talking about with the homosexuality issue, that issue, and I support Mr. Boda wholeheartedly. You can do what you want to do with yourself. You want to have men, you want to change your sex drive, all of that is your business. But when you start pushing legislation, if you start pushing it so that it can affect everybody, when you start teaching our children in the schools from a very young age that the lifestyle you're living is okay for everybody, and you try to change the mindset, then I have a problem with it. We are not trying to put our religion on you, but I have a problem with it. Okay? If you come and tell me that I am a non-offending pedophile, then it means I should come and give you opportunity to come and play with my young children, my young girls, and my young boys. I have a problem with that, because all of these things that we are talking about is into the LGBTQ plus arena. I have a problem with that. I have an issue with that. So please, let's not even compare guns and abortion issue. No, those are different issues. They are separate issues, and the reason why they are separate, because I explained how the whole gun law came into being and why people were able to go and get the right to bear arms. So basically, these are the issues that we've been talking about tonight. Now, last but not least, Mr. Derek Yela, please do not put that little boy into harm's way when it comes to politics. That little boy has a bright future, and let's support him in the schools and the work that he wants to do. When you start bringing that little boy to come speak on political issues, you are just putting him in danger. So please, because I was just going to just scatter that little boy over there with all he's coming to use Bible and doesn't even understand the scripture thing that he's talking about. I could have sat here and give him other scriptures to tell him to debunk, but I didn't want to do it. Mr. Boda gave him the best advice. Don't contaminate that little boy and bring him into politics. I will still stick it on you, even though you have the last word. But I will tell you, don't contaminate that little boy. You and Mr. Ja Winky Weir, you don't spoil that ball. Let that boy stay the way he's supposed to be and do what God wants him to do. At the end of the day, we will all praise God for his work. Thank you for being on this show, and I love all of you. God bless you.
Thank you. You're giving me too much credit than I deserve, but I'm not going to respond to that.
Amen.
You
You've already done it.
All right, thank you.
You gave me too much credit. I think the young man is well equipped. Anyway,
Thank you, Bishop.
Mr. Weir, let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you, Bishop. Thank you, Buddha. Before I say anything, I want to make it clear that I do not support the practice of gay and lesbianism.
Amen.
It is not part of my tradition, and it is not what we do in my family. It's not what we do from the way we were brought up in Liberia. But whatever I say is in line with the law of this country.
They respect the law.
Respect of the law, respecting people's rights. It is from that point of view.
Respect people's rights.
Right. So
Protect the man. Let the man speak. What you
No, I'm just
So,
re-echoing what he said.
the man on the man side, the Palestine now, the Palestine.
There are few things I know people miss out, especially in the Republican, those who are support Republican, about life. They can't distinguish life. Life is life. Whether you die by gun, by abortion, is life. The funny excuses. This gun business bearing started from the Civil War. Bishop, from the Civil War era, when the Civil War time, when people get the full right to. And what Democrat has been saying from time to time, it is not to take away guns. What Democrat is saying here is that the military style of weapons, the big weapons that are used at the war front, they should be eliminated from private people, because that can really, because people who are dying, they are innocent, like students in schools. People they don't have any idea. Somebody may hate the politician and go kill people innocently in a mass way. So Democrats is saying like, let's do gun reforms. At least certain guns shouldn't be carried. That is the fight. The other side of it is that like what the bishop was saying. What I was saying is that I did a whole course about the prison thing. I was not just speaking out of my mind. And what I'm saying is, from what you and myself saying, Google these things, find out, do research on them too. Yes, I went to mission school. The Bible tells us. But sometimes we have our own lives. There are many things we do. The same Bible says you should marry before you have sex, but we have sex every day. I'm going to 3 girlfriends. Nobody will arrest you for doing that, even though you violate that. That's why I'm saying we should not use the Bible in the wrong way. We should not enforce and brother border. I went to family planning clinics. Abortion is not the only thing they do. They really provide services when almost pregnant. People who got less income, who cannot afford to go to some doctor, or they don't even have insurance. Those family planning clinics, they do help, not just abortion. They provide, they nourish the baby, they take care of the woman, they do all these things. But the reason why it's being demonized is because of politics in America. So they think that only thing they do is abortion. People are not even willing to learn about what the people do. They just assume because somebody said it. And what I'm saying in short is that no matter what is your belief, that's why I asked the question that, look, why we have a Muslim president who could people like in America, people drink liquor. In Muslim countries, they kill people for liquor. And even if you look at liquor and marijuana, liquor is getting more people. But because the society accepts it, and you were saying something about Democrats losing, yes, I give Republican credit. They know how to spin issues. Democrats want to be right. I give Republican that credit. They can lie. They can make lies to be like truth. That I give Republican the credit. Because like the current president we have now, when sun shining, when he says it's raining, people will believe him. So what I'm saying, my brothers, I'm not a gay, I'm not a lesbian, but this is that we find ourselves in. This is the only country, those who are gay, this is the only country they belong to. They don't belong to anywhere. And the resources of this country belong to all citizens of this country. That's the point here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The two major points that I got from your closing, and I hope other people got that too. You spoke about life. It's very precious. We should try to sustain it and try to protect it as much as we can, especially for those that are in leadership. And you also talk about people's right, right. We don't want to we don't want people taking our rights away from us. And we also do not want the rights of others to be trampled upon. Thank you very much, Mr. Jawinkin Weir. Again, to those of you watching us, this is where we like to draw the curtain to this episode. We will be back here, same network, same time next week, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, thank you, Bishop Reeves, Mr. Boda, Mr. Jawinkin Weir, Mr. Aikne Brown. And a very big thank you to our special guest we had on tonight, Mr. Roger Allen. So until next time, I'd like to wish each and every one of you a pleasant evening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Derek.
Bishop,